Good evening. Patrick here from the House of Horrors. And I am with the mighty Echo Zero, King Echo this week, by the way, King Echo Zero from the Echo side and the Midnight Hour. And we will be joined in a minute by the young lady, the young lead.
Yeah.
Sabine. Sabine? How do you say her last name, Conrad?
Sabra Randall. She plays Marie.
Sabra.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she should be joining any minute.
Now, some of you guys may recognize our guest because he was a guest on 8 Questions With. But this is not 8 Questions With tonight. Me and King Echo here, we have taken over the show. We were asked to take over the show for our good friend Steven, who's at Spookala this weekend. And so the show must go on, as they say. And so he asked us to run this party tonight, and we were happy to do it, honored to do it. This is my first time officially hosting the House of Horrors since the very first episode. So it only took me 115 episodes to make it back into the driver's seat.
Right.
When he's not hijacking them.
Oh, shh. I keep that on the down low. We don't want people to know that me and the Cheetah were hijackers. That's right. So Conrad, so what's this about Conrad Studios being looking for someone to run it for a project?
Oh, is that what the rumor is all about?
Yeah. You know where we're heading to next, Echo?
Oh God, not that island.
Oh yeah. You know what? Maybe we could talk Conrad into making a sequel.
Oh God. They made this movie called The Legend of Dog Face Lady or something like that.
Yeah.
And so Wild Eye was going to package it on a 4 sets of werewolf movies. So they changed it to The Legend of Werewolf Island. And I started harping on the movie.
Yeah.
And this guy over here is not letting me live it down.
I'd like to see that film at some point.
You know what? It is an awesome cover.
Yeah.
It is, but the appliance for the makeup for the wolf face, dog face, they didn't blend it in so you can see the lines where the mask.
Oh no!
It's like that's a Halloween mask.
Okay, I think our tea's here.
Oh, tea.
That's right. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Glad you are here with us. Unfortunately, is this all we're expecting, Conrad, or anybody else?
This is it. So Sabra and I and Logan couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately.
That's all right. Well, you know what? We're gonna get Logan later.
Yeah,
we'll get Logan later.
There you go.
So it's Sabra, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome to the House of Horrors. I'm Patrick, and my co-host up there is King Echo this week, King of Werewolf Island. That's right. We had to come up with gimmicks for the show. Otherwise, the real host of the show, Steven, said that he would be coming over and literally taking us to that island. So,
oh no.
I could have started harping about a worse movie to get teased about.
No, we don't want to chase our audience away. I mean, I think Bo's afraid has already taken enough beating. We don't need to do any more of it.
Oh no!
I have not seen that film. I'd really want to.
So, drive home safe, everybody. Good night.
No. Do you not like it? Okay, no, I don't. I've got mixed opinions about it, so I'm real curious.
That's the one with what's his name in it?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, I kind of like his work sometimes. He's kind of. I like his Taken Joker.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm just not an Ari Aster fan.
Oh, really?
I like Joaquin Phoenix fine. I mean, he's done some really good stuff, but I'm just not much of an Ari Aster fan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How, let me ask you. Let me get the first question to ask you, Conrad. Because this. I mean, because this is probably something you don't hear or get asked a lot about something like this, but let's just put you on the spot right off the bat. But what directors whose work do you just can't get into? I mean, you watch it, you've seen it, and you're going like, that just leaves me cold creatively or aesthetically, looking. I mean, what directors just don't click for you?
Oh, okay. You're jumping right into it. Well, it's interesting because there's a lot. I feel like I respect a lot of directors. I feel like I admire directors that try different things, even though sometimes I don't like what they're doing at all. Like, for instance, like I like Ridley Scott movies because I think he's a brilliant filmmaker, one of the best. But there are some of the movies that he's made that I just don't like at all. For instance, Blade Runner. I do not like Blade Runner whatsoever. I feel like it was maybe overhyped for me when I first saw it, and it was such a big letdown. Other directors that are maybe hit or miss for me could be Darren Aronofsky. Like sometimes I really like Darren Aronofsky movies, but sometimes they're just so dark and depressing that I'm just like, I don't even want to touch this at all. Like Requiem for a Dream, I haven't seen in like 6 years because it was just so depressing that one time. And but for the most part, I don't think there's any like one filmmaker that I'm like, oh, I hate their work or whatever. I feel like each director has a very interesting vision on what they're doing, whether I agree with it or not. It's totally up to interpretation.
I know that's a rough question to come out with, but I just wonder about. I always wondered about it. It's like okay, you think not. I mean, I don't think it's actually. I don't think it's truthful when people come and say I there's not anybody I don't particularly like. Like you ask somebody, what's your favorite movie or your favorite artist or your favorite actor or actress, and people say I really like everybody. I don't think that's really true. I mean, there's actors and directors that I myself don't really like watching. I don't really, I might respect their work. I respect where they're at, but it just doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't move me, and I think it's okay to express that.
Yeah.
In a sense, because it's like
absolutely. Me myself, I honestly I can't even think of a single one that I'd be like, oh, I don't like any of his work or her work. There's not a single one for me particularly.
Yeah, I just feel I think the word I think you use sometimes is the perfect word is overhyped, and I think that sometimes it does hurt a director. For me, sometimes it works both ways though. Like there's some directors that immediately, as soon as you hear their name attached to a project, even before the movie even comes out, there are people already throwing their 2 cents out without seeing a movie, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that. I mean, I definitely want to see what they're offering before I offer an opinion.
Yeah. Someone like Yuri Boll or Mr. on the tour right now, Tommy Wiseau.
Oh yeah, Tommy Wiseau is an interesting filmmaker.
He's on tour promoting 2 movies.
Yeah, is it The Room and what's the other?
Yeah, because it's the 20th anniversary of The Room and Big Shark.
Yeah. Oh, Big Shark, the new film. It's funny. It's interesting because I was just showing Sabra the other day a clip from The Room, the flower shop scene. So that movie's just a classic in my eyes, even though it's obviously one of the worst movies ever made. But to me, it's just like so hilariously bad that you can't.
He took scenes from that movie and he spliced them into the Star Wars trilogy, making it look like he was having the relationship with Anakin.
Oh, really?
And it was just.
Sabra, what did you think about our friend Tommy?
Oh, well, I was just like Conrad was just showing me the one clip from the movie. I thought it was an interesting style.
Have you recovered from it?
It was only a couple days ago, so
Oh my God,
he's an interesting cat. They finally might know where he's from too, because he might be from Poland.
Oh, is he?
They're like he might be from France. He might be from New Orleans. But someone is saying he might be from Poland.
Yeah. No, he's an interesting director. I read the book, The Making of the Room, or The Disaster Artist, I suppose. And the whole time he kept telling people that he was from New Orleans, I guess, which I thought was hilarious. He's obviously has the thick, European accent and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't remotely sound anything like Louisiana or French.
Right. Exactly. exactly.
Now, let me ask you both the question here. So let's say you get a phone call, either separately, but let's say you get a phone call from his agent, and he wants you to work with him. What are you saying?
Sabra, what do you say?
Yes. Or Sabra.
Well, I think I would have to get more familiar with his work, but ultimately I don't think I'd ever say, well,
It's okay. Be honest.
no.
It's okay. You're safe. You're in good hands here.
Yeah. Well, I think I would just have a conversation at that point. I like to keep an open mind and give everyone a chance until I've actually worked with them myself. Everybody has their own opinions, and I think it's good to take that into account, but ultimately I won't know unless I've worked with somebody myself.
So in other words, Conrad, you need to show her another scene or two.
I need to show her the movie.
He has a Twitch. He has a Twitch channel where he streams clips, that Star Wars thing. He attempted to make some little like TV series web show where he puts on this really bad Justin Bieber looking blonde wig and stuff. You get a taste of just how interesting of a person he is.
We did say this was the House of Horrors because I really truly am terrified right now. Just actually thinking of either one of you having to work on a set. We would have to ride to the rescue now.
Please.
Now, I'm saying this for a public record. If you guys get trapped on a set with that happening, me, King Echo, and our good friend Hobbs is in the chat right there. We will come and get you wherever you're at. That's our word.
So much, please.
This is the same guy on his website. You can buy a pair of boxer briefs that say Wazoo on them and get a Blu-ray copy of The Room.
Yeah.
An interesting marketing thing there.
Yeah.
Now, I guess that though, in all seriousness, doing a film like Headcase, I mean, unbelievable pressure, right? me and Echo both watched the film. We both think it's outstanding.
Yeah. And I'm seeing the tea thing. I'm going because literally, tea is my drink of choice. So it's like, why tea? Why tea?
Oh yeah, I know.
So how do they go about choosing the different things? Like because yours was what was it? Had to be a mockumentary, a cup of tea, environmental investigator, and do you think I'm stupid? How do they go about choosing those?
Well, it's honestly, the prompts, except for the genre, are all the same for every team. So this was like a 40-hour film project, which means that there were 51 teams competing with those same exact prompts that were chosen by the festival organizers. And then the only difference between every movie was the genre. So they gave out different genres to different teams. So we ended up getting mockumentary. Other teams got science fiction or Western or comedy or drama, whatever it is. So then you just kind of had to create a movie within those parameters in 48 hours. Write it, shoot it, edit it, and turn it in, which was kind of crazy, to be honest, because our movie was a little ambitious. But yeah, no, I think it turned out all right.
Oh, I'm guessing because I'm looking at the YouTube channel. Best film, best actor, audience choice, group C, best use of character, best use of prop.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I was honestly surprised because there were a lot of really good films in competition, as Sabra could attest, because she was, she watched them as well, and we were all just so shocked that we ended up winning, the top prize. But it is a very different kind of movie. I will say we had the most different movie of the festival. I don't think anyone would have ever thought to make the prop, but an exploding head kind of gimmick.
It's an amazing film. It looks so huge. When you see it, it's just like it looks awesome. It doesn't look like you only have 40 hours to do it. It almost looks like a proof of concept type pitch.
Oh,
like I'm going to make this into a feature film. This is what we're doing. I was just like, damn, this is really cool. I want to see more of this.
Right? Yeah. No, shot it in one single day. We did it all filmed it all in one day. So it was crazy.
Was this your first 48-hour film, Sabra?
No, I've worked with Conrad and Conrad Studios on some other 48-hour films in the past. So it's my first time in Pittsburgh, though. The city was awesome.
Now, how did you end up going from? Now, was this so? This is the Pittsburgh 48-hour challenge. Wow, you know, I know a couple of filmmakers over in Pittsburgh too. I wonder if they entered. I wonder if they entered. I would have to ask them if they entered because, I mean, and because one I know for sure is a really good filmmaker, and I think he has done the 48-hour challenge before. I'll have to ask him. But how did you end up in Pittsburgh out of Cleveland? Was it just because it was Pittsburgh who was hosting this festival?
Well, we're doing a feature film this summer, so there's no time to do Cleveland or any, like, that was the only city that aligned with our schedule because the Cleveland 48 is in the middle of July, and I'm going to be literally in Alabama doing my next feature horror film. So Pittsburgh just seemed like the right choice. And also, I really enjoy the way Pittsburgh does the 48s. They do it big. They have like a live stream of it. It's like a whole red carpet. I mean, the whole vibe. Just from what I saw last year, I mean, I watched the live stream of the event last year, and I was so jealous. I was like, wow, Cleveland's never done it like this. You know, I was telling Saber and I was telling the whole team, I'm like, guys, we obviously are going to be doing our movie in the summertime, but what if we did this Pittsburgh 48, in May? And everyone was on board. So it was a great time, and we love Pittsburgh. It was such a cool city for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Now, did everybody you take, is that part of Conrad Studios? Was there a whole cast and crew from your own company, or did you use any local help?
No, so we filmed nothing in Pittsburgh. It was all filmed in Cleveland. The entire cast and crew is from Cleveland. In fact, nothing is Pittsburgh related. The only Pittsburgh relation that we have is that we competed in that city. So the only requirement to compete in whatever city it is, you just need to have a representative there during the kickoff event. And that's the only requirement out of any city. So we had a representative from Conrad Studios at the kickoff, but then everything else was done in Cleveland.
So yeah, because you had to get the prop. I mean, the prompt, right? Like the line that you built your. So he got it, and then he called you up with it, or he said it to you.
Yeah, well, it was a woman. It was our photographer Dominique, and she was awesome. She lives in Pittsburgh, so she was just there, and did us that solid, and she's part of the team, and she called us up and she said, this is there was a live stream. They did a live stream showing all the teams, so we found out in real time what we got as well. So
now, were you guys all basically like I'm trying to think of this like a race. I'm thinking you had your whole cast and crew there. You're all ready for action. Logan and Saber are looking at each other, going like, "We're ready," and then you get the line. Was it just instantly, as soon as you got the line, you just instantly went, or did you just go ahead and turn around and break it down and storyboard it?
So obviously we didn't know that it was going to be Headcase when we got the prompts, because we didn't know what we were going to do at all, because we had to write it that very same day. And thankfully we surrounded ourselves with such a great group of actors that were available to us, like Sabra and Logan, and we had Melody, who played the reporter. And I'm like, okay, so we have all these talented actors. What story can we make with the actors that we have available to us at the moment? And and then we did Headcase, and then based on that, I started writing the script really quickly, really, with the whole team. We were all kind of brainstorming. We had like a whole circle. We were brainstorming. It was like 15 of us just brainstorming ideas. And then everyone went off back home to sleep and get rest. And then me and my producer Dave finished the script until like 1 a.m, which is when I sent it out. And by 8:30 in the morning, we were all on set, ready to film it.
Wow. So I guess was there anybody there? I'm sorry. Was there anybody there that for anybody in your crew? Was this going to be their very first 48-hour challenge, or was everybody a veteran of the format already?
Hey, bro, what do you recall if that was anyone's first time?
I know that it was Grace's first time. So our first camera assistant.
That's
her
right.
first 48-hour film.
Yeah.
And I think first kind of experience on a film set overall. And so, I mean, I'd met her before, and I mean, she's awesome, and I was really glad to be able to.
That was her first time on a film set? Are you kidding? She did so well. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's really interesting. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I think we had a couple of, so Grace, I think I think we had a couple others. That was the first time as well, and they really enjoyed the exhilarating experience of doing something so quickly. I think I stayed up for a long time. I don't know how long you stayed up, Saber, but I stayed up for 41 hours that weekend total.
I got a little bit of sleep. I definitely made sure that I could sleep before the day of filming, but then Saturday night into Sunday, I don't think I got as much sleep. I was just all the excitement. I was just couldn't wait. So I was like,
right.
So you were up for 41 out of the 48 hours.
I was up for 41. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
It was nuts because I had to edit it. I've never edited a 48 before, and all my editors were unavailable. So I said, okay, so we're already committed to this, so I'm going to edit it myself. So I went from directing it all day, doing everything, and then right into the night editing the whole movie, and then doing the sound design and the color myself as well. And funny enough, we finished 2 hours early from the deadline.
Really?
Yeah.
You finished all that in 46 hours.
46 hours, yeah.
Echo, what do you think about that?
Well, that's insane. I was trying to see if they did that in Seattle. I'm in Washington State, where I live. But I think that'd be in the Seattle area.
Yeah, they do a Seattle 48, pretty sure.
I'd be too afraid to see what Seattle would come up with.
I love Seattle. I've never been to Seattle, but my favorite soccer team is from Seattle.
I think I might have been if they play in an outdoor stadium, I might have been in it because we have a big event in Seattle called Bumper Shoot. It's a few days, music and all these events. And I went to see the band. All these different bands ended up in this soccer stadium. Remember the band Live?
Man, I don't know that one.
I know the band.
Yeah, back in the 90s. Well, my big joke is I got to see the band live.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm just trying to because this it's always different. It's always different for first 48. The first time you do it, and the excitement's got to be it's got to be just absolutely just way up there. So the first for the camera operator. Was she overwhelmed at all at any time? Or do you just get a rhythm once you start going? You get the movie out, because for something like this, is it basically true, Conrad? In order to really do this right, you really should storyboard it because you don't have time to go over there, and you really don't have time to improvise. It's one of those times where improv is not your friend. It works against you. Because you can't sit there and spend 30-40 minutes. Well, let's improv this line. You can't do that. You just don't have the time for that. You just got all right, so here's what we're doing. Here's what I wrote. Let's stay with on the paper, and then and then go. So this is one of the first times I think I've actually thought about this, because whereas before when we talked improv, it's a huge gift, if you have actors that are gifted in doing that. I think you mentioned to me you will let them have a little bit of fun, to have some, to chew it on a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think in Headcase, it's just like one of those things where it's not today. Yeah.
There wasn't that much improvising on Headcase, but there was also no storyboarding whatsoever because there was no time for storyboarding. I honestly didn't even shot list. I just kind of, in my head, knew what I needed to get in terms of the shots, and that's what we got. So Does your film now go to Filmapalooza? Yeah, Filmapalooza in Portugal. So we're going to Portugal next year to compete against the entire world. So now we're
because they were saying Seattle's does theirs the 48. I guess it's next month.
Yeah,
and the winner, they're saying the winner goes to Filmapalooza, and I guess I was reading about it. That's where all of them go.
Yeah, so we're gonna be competing against all the world's best in March of next year in Lisbon, Portugal.
Well, I'm rooting for you to beat Seattle just because I don't like Seattle.
Well, thank you.
I tell you what really carried it, your special effects.
Oh, yeah.
Holy, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the acting's great. The concept story's fun, but the way you put your special effects in, top drawer, especially the building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the little lady blows up the building.
It looked like that building. I'm going like, okay, you that was perfect. I mean, that thing looked like you actually blew it up.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, the advantage that I had over, I guess, a lot of people that I guess weren't as experienced with visual effects is that I've done so many movies with visual effects or visual effects heavy movies. Like my Mudblood series had so many visual effects in almost every single scene. Even my Slasherverse series had like a lot of like, special effects and stuff. And so then when we wrote this, I felt very comfortable doing special effects when I knew that other teams might not be their strength. So then I played on my strengths. I knew that I could get away with a little bit of like, heads exploding, no problem. I know my guys can do it. That's not an issue. So, yeah.
No, it looked perfect. It looked perfect. Sabra, let's go back with you a little bit. And now we know you're in this film, but we need to know a little bit about you before you got here. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born and raised at?
Sure. So I was actually born in Florida, but raised in Cleveland. So very familiar, love Cleveland. And I kind of got into acting when I was a kid. I started in community theater, a lot of plays and musicals. And as I got older and kind of going into the transition from like high school to college, I was struggling to find time to invest into theater because theater is very much like rehearsal 3 or 4 times a week. It's hours. Where like film, you put all of that time in, but it's more on your own schedule versus having like blocked time where theater is like very like everybody has to be there. So in college, I kind of did a transition where I started into film more because again, like I said, I was able to get a script and work on scenes at my own pace and then, connect with the other actors and kind of work on them. And it's kind of just built from there. So,
what did you? Was there any? When you first got into acting, did you know that this is something you wanted to do? I mean, was Cleveland at that time for you? Was it welcoming? I mean, as a new actress, did you find the film industry around the town welcoming, or was it a little bit hard getting through some doors?
I found it to be very welcoming. Again, like starting in theater, like when I was younger, the community was amazing. I loved it. And I feel like that really solidified my love for acting. It's always just been a joy and something that is like really fun for me. It's like, just going and creating a character and doing something. And then, so I guess transitioning into film, I also found like a lot of connections and people are very welcoming from my experience. I like being able to go onto a new set and network and meet more people and maybe there's more actors or more people who are working in crew that I didn't know before that I now know. And it's I always look at future connections and I love being able to kind of see what each set brings. Everybody's different and I like being able to get to know everybody better. So yeah, I've had a really welcoming experience.
Yeah. You got a question, Echo?
No, I was just sorry, I was reading something. I remember something.
Now, what was your first project that you? Well, let's go back. Let's see how you and Conrad met because, yeah, because I mean, I guess that would probably be important. It's like, how did you meet Conrad? How did you guys? Was it through through an audition process, a film?
It was actually through a friend. So again, it was kind of in my early transition into film. I had a friend say, "Hey, I know this director, and he's looking for background for actually fighting the sky." Way back when, I think 2016, potentially. And she was like, "Hey, are you available? Do you want to come and just do some background on a set?" And I was like, "Heck yeah!" Like, I love it. And so that's kind of where we met, I guess, and like the first project that we worked on together. So goes back to 2016.
Yeah, well, it was 2015 if I recall.
Oh, was it?
It was, yeah, definitely.
Good 8 years.
Wow. Wow, 8 years? Oh my
No
goodness.
way. Sorry, my
My math is could be a little rusty, but I believe it's about 8 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Ohio. Last time the first time you and I talked, Conrad, we were talking about how absolutely on fire Cleveland is. Ohio overall is, as far as filmmakers go.
Yeah.
It's still going on. I'm still finding tremendous artists to talk to from the state.
Yeah.
Absolutely on fire.
Definitely.
Now last time you and I talked, you were going down to South America, weren't you, to be filming a movie?
Yeah, and I still am, but it's going to be later this year. So I scouted Puerto Rico. It's funny because I was going to film that film in Honduras, my native country, and we had scouts over there, and turns out they didn't want us coming in to make this movie because it was a gangster movie, and they didn't want it to be portrayed in a specific way. And I said, well, it's all fictional, obviously, and they were like, no. So then I went to Puerto Rico to scout there, and I met some of the local scouts. I talked to the film commission over there, and they're very open. They're very they obviously have bigger productions coming into Puerto Rico. So our plan is to still make that movie, but now more so towards the end of the year, because now we have a feature film happening this summer here in Cleveland that we're filming. And then we also have a Slasherverse Volume 2 that we're trying to make happen. So it's a busy schedule for us this year.
Wow, I mean, I can sort of understand the Honduras thing, because they do have a lot of it's pretty intense over there right now.
It is intense. It is, and I was trying to film it in a very nice part of the country, and I wasn't going to film it anywhere else because it was too dangerous. In that area of the country, this particular city just basically shut us down, saying, no, you can't do this here. So
yeah.
Okay.
I think they're probably just nervous. They're probably just nervous because of the subject matter.
Yeah.
Maybe should have just lied to them and told me you're doing a comedy.
I know, right? But then when they see it, I get in way more trouble. But no, I should have. But this movie has gun battles and like chase sequences. I mean, they will instantly know what we were doing. So
Puerto Rico released all those movies back in the.
Yeah.
I mean, what country was it? What countries was it back in the 70s and 80s? Used to always shoot in. Corman and them used to always shoot in. Was that Puerto Rico or someone else? Oh no, it was the Philippines.
Oh, Philippines, probably.
Oh God, yeah. The Philippines has a rich history too of American filmmaking, especially back in the 70s. A lot of martial arts, a lot of action movies from there. So, but does Puerto Rico also have the tax incentives like Cleveland does? I mean, Ohio does.
They do, yeah. They do have incentives, but our budget isn't nearly high enough to meet those for a short film, because this is only a short film.
Okay.
So the budget isn't even anywhere close. But it's a beautiful place. But the only issue with that, though, is that I want to get local actors to play these roles, right? Because it's a Spanish gangster movie. But the Puerto Rican Spanish is just so specific. They have a specific accent. No matter what, they can't shake it off, no matter what. So we auditioned maybe 50, 60 people, and I said, use a neutral Spanish accent, and none of them did it. They couldn't do it. So I have to change the story slightly when I actually end up doing it.
There was that comedian Gabriel Iglesias who was breaking down the different dialect, this is how a Mexican does it, this is how a Puerto Rican does it, and how they pronounce things and the speed too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's all true. That's all true. Everyone does it so differently. So. Yeah.
Have you? I'm not sure if we talked about this a little bit last time you and I talked, but it just seems like lately this is really. Well, first of all, I want to ask you your opinion about something real quick, and Sabine, also please jump in. So the Writers Guild is on strike right now, and what are your feelings about writers? What do you feel is fair that a writer should get? I mean, how does a writer get paid? I always thought a writer got paid per project. Like if they came to them and they said, "Listen, we want you to give us a treatment on this movie," and they write it out. I thought they got paid per project. Is that how it works? And do they want to get paid pretty much more steadily, like like almost like a contract? I mean, do you know anything about what they're asking for?
Well, to be honest with you, I have not done any research whatsoever on the Writers Guild strike, and also that also in a way that doesn't affect me personally. I mean, I hate to say it that way and be so blunt, but because I'm not a part of the guild. But I do know, however, that like writers have been severely underpaid throughout history. And I mean, the writing really is the essential part of the pre-production. I mean, it's the story. I mean, if you don't pay your storytellers what they're worth, then yeah, I mean, I fully support that they should strike and do all that stuff.
See, I was surprised when I heard about this, because I always thought whoever wrote the script got a percentage, like as small as it is, maybe it's point, maybe it's half a point. You would think that they get that, like, okay, well, if you wrote Avatar, okay, so we're gonna give you we'll give you a half a point until we hit profit, and then it'll go up to like 1 point and then 1.5, if it's certain areas. So I was really surprised to find out that writers do not get paid as much as one would think.
Yeah.
Has that always been that way, Conrad?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because every time I've been hired to write something, I've been cheap. Like the producers usually are like, oh, we only have like $3,000 or $4,000, for like a feature length like script, with indie movies particularly. So yeah, I mean, writers are so. I mean, I feel like most executives think that that scripts can be done easily or by anyone, really, as long as you have a good story. So they don't really take into account that writer's particular skills or storytelling abilities. And I also think that a lot of writers don't get a lot of back-end points. I don't think that especially episodic writers for TV shows, those are the ones that are really getting screwed over. Yeah, because right. You write long-form content here with different episodes, and then you're not really getting anything in return after each episode airs and re-airs and right. streams on different platforms. So I think that's really what their primary argument is trying to get more royalties for streaming platforms.
Sabine, what attracts you? What attracts you to a story?
Me? Oh, mm-hmm. It's Sabra. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No worries. What attracts me to a story? Oh, I would have to say good character development. Also, you can kind of see that like when you get a script or when you're watching something. You can see the character development in the writing, but I think, also part of being an actor is bringing out and complementing the story itself. So I think what really attracts me to a story is, I would say the character development and then kind of the message. I like when you're able to watch a story and kind of understand the message, maybe without it being told to you directly. And again, I think that just comes down to like the writers and the actors and the directing kind of all complementing each other and like meshing well. So
something that movies like Birdemic don't do.
Wait, which one? Which movie?
Birdemic.
Oh, Birdemic. Okay, I've actually never seen Birdemic. I've avoided it.
Oh my god. Whoa!
I've always said
you also just mentioned Blood Cloth just to get the trilogy in.
Yeah, I think it's one of those movies. It's like if you want to know, I always said it's one of those ones. If you want to know not what to do when you're making a movie, watch this. Music, like when they're talking, you got music playing, and when they start talking, music stops. Then they stop talking, music plays.
Well, that could be a really good example to show, yeah, for sure. Like, and what not to do. That's awesome.
Our friend Hobbs has a question here. He's asking, does the writers ever get credit when it comes to distributing? Is that built into their contract? I mean, the more the movie's out there, the more it's distributed, or basically more based on sales. Do they? I mean, I guess that would be points.
It depends on the deal that each actor writes with the production company. It's completely dependent on the deal. So if I were to if Netflix came to me and said, Conrad, here's $50,000 to write this movie, but you get 0 points on the back end. or here's 25 grand, but you get like, 2% or whatever of like the streaming royalties. So that's something that the writer would have to consider. So it just depends on whatever deal they kind of negotiate with the production company or the distributing company.
Wow. I would take the 25 and the 2 points.
I would bet on myself. Yes, 100%, definitely.
Yeah, points are always good.
Yeah.
Definitely. Good question, Josh.
Right.
Echo, jump in there, buddy. I know you got some questions. Don't mention blood claws.
You know, hey, you're the one mentioning that movie, not me. That's a movie that can put someone in the hospital, by the way. if you're have a history or susceptible to seizures, don't watch it.
Oh wow.
Okay. So you got a movie on Tubi. What are your thoughts about having your stuff on streaming services like Tubi for people to watch, like a free one versus a paid one?
Sure. Oh, that's a great question. It's funny though, because like, well, I have one movie on Tubi. I didn't even know it was on Tubi till someone told me that it was on Tubi. So that's because we sold the rights. We sold the rights to different companies in different territories, which is funny. It's Fight in the Sky, where I met Sabra. She's in that movie. And, I really like it because at the end of the day, what I like about what I do is the exposure. I'm not in it for the money per se, or like whatever points I'm going to get on this streamer or that streamer. Like for me, like my number one goal is how many people can I get to watch my work? So whether that could be on a free reputable streamer like Tubi, or that could be on Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or Paramount or whatever it is, to me, it's all about how big of an audience can I get from that. So I'm all about streaming services. I'm all about people getting exposure to our work. I think that's a great thing. I mean, it would be nice to get paid through like Tubi. I know that probably the releasing company that we sold the movie to, which is High Octane Pictures, I'm sure they're getting some royalties from that, from ads or whatever it is. But we already made our deal with them, and yeah, I mean, as long as the movie's getting exposure and people are talking about it, and it's funny. I just saw I think it was like a review from like India from Fight in the Sky last week on YouTube. Like some Indian guy was like reviewing it, and I'm like, oh, at least they're watching it over there, which is great. So
Cool.
yeah, it wasn't a great review, and I didn't know what he was saying, but at the end it said 4 out of 10, so I assume it was not a very good review.
Well,
But still, I mean, I did this movie like a long time ago.
Next time you got to put in a dance number.
I know,
but I've had like at least one review I did, and all of a sudden the director left a comment. I'm thinking, oh my god, I hope I didn't piss him off.
Oh yeah.
I get afraid, like, oh my god, please no, I don't mean upset you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a really good segue because because this is a risk. This is always a risk. Sometimes a journalist or a pseudo journalist, so to speak, or a reviewer such as myself or Echo or Hobbs, sometimes we actually get to know directors. Like, I consider you, you and I had a fantastic interview, and I feel like you're more than just a director. I could talk to you just about anything film related. How I mean, if someone have you ever had a friend or film journalist or film critic or whatever? Have you ever had someone you personally know write a bad review of your movie? And if so, how did you react to it?
Someone that I personally know write a bad review
of one of your films?
It's funny. They've said it to my face that they didn't like my movie. So that's one thing. But I've never had anyone that I know actually write a bad review. No, not on a publication or not anything like that. I mean, and I've read a lot of bad reviews about my movies. I've read a lot of good reviews about my movies. So like right now, like reviews really don't faze me. I think they hurt more if the movie's fresh. Like if I just finished the movie like last week and there's a review that comes out and it's a bad review, then I'm like, oh man, did I just waste 2 years of my life? That's when it starts to sting. But then I know it. But then like now, like for instance, Fight in the Sky, like yeah, there's a couple bad reviews out there. And if they come in, I'm like, that's fine. I mean, that was me when I was like, in my early 20s. Like I know that my filmmaking is completely different now than back then. So I'm not. I don't take too much offense to it. In fact, I learned from those reviews. I learned from the critiques. But most people like that I know, and if something sucks, they just tell me to my face. Most of my friends are very blunt. They'll be like, I don't know about this. This one might not have been the best one that you've made. So, and I'd rather have those friends than people who always just say, "Oh, amazing work! This was brilliant,"
Yeah,
even if it could be crap.
it's great. It's great.
Exactly.
And behind your back, they're going, "God, it sucks. The worst thing ever."
Exactly.
Well, let's toss that question over to our actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just acting or movies in general?
No, your roles. Have you ever had any?
Have anybody criticized you to your face or anything?
I don't think to my face. I think personally, as like an actor, I think I'm my own. Actually, I know I'm my own worst critic. But I kind of like to take a more growth mindset on it. So I try to, like, if I see a past, I guess, role, kind of learn, like, what did I do then that, can be critiqued? How can I move forward from that? And if there are bad reviews, I mean, kind of like Conrad said, I think I can use it as a place to grow, to kind of see, because I mean, I'm always learning. Everybody's always learning. And I mean, I can never be the best, right? Like, so the way that I look at it, like I'm always at my best for where I'm at now, but there's always growth. So I think a bad review is still a good review.
Let's you evolve.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess what's that saying? Any press is good press. No
such thing as bad press.
Yeah, for something as bad press. Hobbs asked a really good question here for you, Conrad.
Okay.
Thoughts on using classically trained actors versus non classically trained, like someone who's just gone to a few classes, doesn't have the MFA.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel? Does it really matter if there's a classically trained actor?
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to me, as long as it's funny because, like, I don't look at resumes. Two people could walk in and they'll do an audition for me, and if the one audition was better than the other one, and that one audition happened to be someone who just started acting, or that might have been their first ever acting, that audition, and that was better, then that's the person I'm going to pick. I really don't care about resumes, unless you're like an established, like, big actor or something, then I'll be like, okay, well, this person brings this much value to the project. But for the most part, it'd be nice if they have a good acting background, because that lets me know, like, okay, they can certainly hold up an entire movie. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the performance. If the performance is good, if the audition is good, if I believe that they can, hold their own weight in the production, then, by all means. So I mean, in Headcase, we had people who had never acted before, ever. And that was their first ever movie, like Deborah, who played Mrs. Flanagan. That was her first ever movie. She had never acted before. She just happened to be like the person that we envisioned for that role.
Oh, that was her role. I mean, at the end, like, it's like when she's coming out of the fact, it's like, oh, I know it's her. I just know it's her. And he's just like, okay, go on your way.
Yeah, right.
It blows up, and then those left standing like, uh-oh, we need to get out of here. That moment when it blew up and they go, they're talking about how to get out of there. I'm having flashbacks to, what was it, Lethal Weapon 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Where they had the building blow up at the beginning, at the end, blows up, and they're like, uh-oh, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So let's go keep this going here for sure. Thank you for answering these tough questions too. So I want to talk a little. Go ahead.
I got one. Okay, you did the Mudblood, which is the Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
We've seen recently there's been backlash against anything Harry Potter because of J.K. Rowling's what she said.
Yeah.
Did you face any of negativity, backlash because of being Harry Potter and the whole J.K. Rowling thing?
Yes, a lot. Even from some of the crew. Some of the crew said, "Why are you crediting J.K. Rowling in the credits? Why is her name in the credits of the movie?" Like, there were a lot of very confrontational people when we did Mudblood, because it was at the time it was an even hotter topic than it is now. I mean, there's still an issue and everything, but even back then, I mean, people were commenting like on TikTok, like, don't support this, don't support anything that J.K. Rowling is involved in, or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, that was a little bit difficult to maneuver, but at the end of the day, I can separate, the two things completely. I mean, I appreciate J.K. Rowling for what she did and everything, and she built this world and all this stuff, but I can also separate her opinions about certain things. I separate the human being from the artist.
The art,
yeah. So yeah, we did face quite a bit, and Sabra was actually in Mudblood. She played one of the sisters, one of the witches in the series. But she looked very different in Mudblood than she does in real life, of course.
But Sabra, did you face any of that backlash?
Me, I did not, or at least not to my face, not that I saw or heard personally. But I know on set, and I heard about things that were going on, but no, not personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of irritates me a little bit about that, because it's funny because especially since especially you mentioned about the crew, it's like here you are, you're on a set, you're working, you're making money off of set, you're making money, you're getting paid for what you're doing, you're making basically what you're doing, you're biting the hand that's feeding you, because without J.K. Rowling and her work, there's no Mudblood, there's no
Mudblood,
there's nothing. You're sitting there at home waiting for the phone to ring, and to come out there and attack her for her opinion. It's wow. It just seems to be. I guess they're seeing it now too with the representative. I truly don't understand the term woke. People want to be represented, and I'm down with that. We all are. The woke. I guess the woke generation is, I guess my problem is this. It's like, I'm all for that. I'm all for representation. But I also know too that, I don't want representation at the cost of an established creator's work.
Yeah.
We saw recently with that game. I don't know if you guys heard about that video game, Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
People were getting just bullied until they were in tears.
Yeah. A lot of Twitch streamers, they were getting bullied, for streaming Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it myself. I really want to. I know Sabra's played it, and I'm really jealous.
And I know we're going to be getting. It's going to be brought up again because we have what was it? HBO. Oh, sorry, the Max, as they call themselves now. It's going to have that new series.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Do you find yourself in a situation like this where, whether it be J.K. Rowling or the woke issue, do you find yourself shying away from working with on subjects that might ruffle the fur of people, or you find yourself going like, you know what, screw it, I'm making a movie, I got something to say, I got a cast here that believes in me, a crew that believes in me, and we're going to get our story out. And have you ever like, well, maybe we shouldn't do that right now because it's a little bit too sensitive, and we'll back off and come back and revisit it later?
No, that's such a great question, because I've had stories that I've had in my head for so many years that were maybe a little bit extreme or crazy. And like my background in filmmaking, in high school I studied exploitation and grindhouse cinema, like that was curated with Quentin Tarantino and his picks and everything. And like I would study just grindhouse movies day in and day out. Like after school I would just watch like I Drink Your Blood, or like Suspiria, like all the Gallo films, the Italian guy. Like I would just watch so many crazy ones. Blood-Sucking Freaks was such a good one that I saw. I mean, there were just some crazy movies, and I wrote a lot of those. I mean, I wanted to write all these crazy horror movies, and I did make several like short films and things throughout like my early 20s and stuff that I don't think I could get away with now because of the whole wokeness. But then part of me thinks like, screw it, like at some point it's all going to be a matter of perspective. Like there's going to be an audience for everything. If I make this, I'm going to find the right audience that's going to want to watch this stuff, and if I put it out there, I might as well just stay true to my vision. But I there is this weird kind of thing in the back of my mind that's like, okay, so I'm going to get some hate for this, but you know what, this is what I've always wanted to do, and you only live once, and you don't shouldn't limit yourself to what you want to say. So yeah.
Sabra, let me ask you: Would you would you back out of a project if it was, if it got a little bit too hot for you, like you mentioned, you really didn't get anything at all for Mudblood, but let's say you were doing another project where there was a lot of attention, a lot of heat.
Yeah.
Would that cause you? Would that cause you to like reconsider the role, or would you also take the same attitude and say, you know what, I'm here for, I'm an actress, I'm a storyteller, and this is what I'm going to do. Basically, I'm just saying, I'm asking you, would public fear cause you to back out of a role, or would it actually encourage you to go forward even more so?
I think that's a great question. I think there are a lot of components to that, honestly.
Break it down for us.
I know. So to me, I think it has to be a good story. It has to be a compelling story for me to like kind of look at it and want to accept. And I feel like ultimately at the end of the day, if I know that the story is meaningful in a sense and creative and fun, I guess I wouldn't know until like I'm in that situation. I think a story and the people around me would definitely pull me to stay. But I don't know. The heat, I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know what I would do until in the situation, but I hope I'm not ever put in that situation.
Me too.
Yeah.
Is there one role you would really like to play?
Oh gosh. Not one specific role. I think I'm really drawn to like drama. So kind of a genre. So I think drama is really fun, and I would love to do more like dramatic or dramatic comedy kind of. But I don't have a specific role in mind, I guess.
So. Okay, so since we're talking about this, and this needs to be, especially with someone who I respect as much as I do with you, Conrad. So I want to talk a little bit more about this because, I rarely get a chance to get people, I rarely get a chance to actually come back. A lot of people might find themselves backpedaling from the issue, but I don't think we should. I think it should be put out. It should be had the light turned on and talked about. With the woke thing, what really got me was the fact that I agree that everybody should be represented. I mean, it's important that we do have representation. And yeah, I mean, come on, think about it. People, all they want is this: they want what you've already had for the last 80 years in film. You've gotten to tell your stories the way you wanted to for 80 years. And we really, and our character, our culture, our lifestyle has never either been included or it's been played by someone who didn't understand it, nor did they try. You have some who could not express any interest in playing it because it would put them in an unflattering public light. Somebody like a Tab Hunter or an Anthony Perkins, who lived underneath a shadow. They could not be them who they could not be themselves. They could not express themselves. And then we see, different caricatures of people in broad, you see, I guess like the Birdcage. You see two mainstream actors playing, a lifestyle that they themselves don't live in. But now here we are. Now we have a chance to express that through the actors who are in that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do you? I mean, but I guess what I'm saying is, I want that for everybody, but I don't want that to squash out other people's views too. I don't want. Don't you think there's enough room in the creative pie for us to all be able to sit down and all be represented? Without being forced.
Yeah.
Because you look at Disney, they're doing that now. Now it's a difference between come up with a creative idea of your own.
Mm-hmm.
For someone like taking the Little Mermaid and sitting there going like, well, we're going to go ahead and make her a minority because we can. It's like, but you've already created a memorable character. Why can't you make another character her own instead of taking over another character who's already been established? Would you? I mean, yeah. What do you feel? Do you feel like do you think that some people's? I mean, you're a writer too. I mean, it's hard right now. Is it hard to create an original character, or
I
play an original character?
Yeah, I mean, with the Little Mermaid, I mean, I can see why it was interpreted that way. And I honestly applaud Disney for being so bold in that choice, because I mean, there's not that many, young little African American girls that, would look up to see a princess like Ariel. I mean, they always think of her as pale with red hair and everything. But I think it is nice to have a kind of a different perspective. I'm always open to different perspectives and different projects, but I also can see the mentality of let's not try to make something fit when it doesn't fit. So it just depends on the project. I mean, and I do agree to some extent with what you're saying, which is, everyone's trying to make everything fit in different where it doesn't fit. And I do believe Hollywood's trying to do that a little bit too much now. But there are a couple of projects that might work. I mean, I haven't seen The Little Mermaid, but from what I've been told, it's a fantastic movie. And hell, if it's a fantastic movie, then awesome, that's great, and it's getting more people out there, and it gives you a whole different perspective on The Little Mermaid. That's great, but then there's other, they're certainly trying to force things. I mean, it's come down to an annoying factor that even an actor can't play gay or trans or something if they're not gay or trans, you know what I mean? And it's an actor is an actor can play anything. That's what they do. They're acting. And I feel
in the old days you had Mexicans playing Indians.
Yeah, exactly. Because there
was one guy who was, I think there was one guy who was known for doing that, but I forget his name. I know that
Yakima Konet was one of them. He did a lot of John Wayne movies, and he played that. He played. Yeah. So I just feel like how would you feel, Saber? How would you feel if someone came up there and asked you to play a part that was culturally or ethnically different from the original character? Let's say they came up there and says, "Well, we want you to play in The Color Purple. We want you to play the Whoopi Goldberg role." Would you feel comfortable stepping into her role and doing something like that, or would you back out and sit there and say, "I don't think that's really for me"? It's a great role. It's a great movie. It's a great script.
Which is why we're already getting a remake of it.
Oh. Yeah. Well, good question. I would not take that role. The way I see it, there are a plethora of amazing actors out there. So for me to play something out of character, I guess, so to speak, I don't think there would be a reason for it, I guess. Yeah. I don't think I would do that. No.
I'll play the role. I'll play the Whoopi Gold. That's an awesome.
Yeah.
I want to do it. That sounds great.
I mean,
it's funny because I remember when people don't remember this at all, but I do, and I remember the hoopla around it. But there was a film a few years ago called Gods of Egypt. It was directed by Alex Proyas. I think he wrote it too.
It didn't have that one British guy in it.
It had Gerard Butler in it, and Costa-Waldau, Nicholas Costa-Waldau, and he got lit up. I think it's actually one of the very first times I ever saw this, and people were ripping on him for not casting the Egyptian in the Egyptian roles, even though the man was half Egyptian.
They did the same thing for Ghost in the Shell.
Right. Now, do you think people just don't understand that they don't understand the dynamics? Like when you cast your movie, when you come out there and you're creating that character, you're not creating the character necessarily like down to the nth degree. Like, okay, it has to have this, have to have. You're basically going looking for a woman age 25 to 30, a little salty, maybe a shady background, maybe you're writing a general form to fit an actress into that role, without being really specific. You can't really do that, right?
Well, it just depends on the story. It depends on the script that you're trying to tell. It all varies. I mean, if it's a general role like that, it doesn't sound like it's that detailed. Then yeah, I mean, it's very general. You can pretty much get whoever's best for the role. You don't have to like fit in a different criteria. But yeah, I mean, but if I'm writing like a role of like a in a small barrio and it's like a bunch of Puerto Rican characters, then I want to cast a Puerto Rican actors.
Yeah.
For that. So it really depends on the story.
Yeah. It's like the last Predator movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they were casting, they put out a call for First Nation actors.
Yeah,
that's what they wanted.
Yeah,
but then you get somebody who does a bad, weird casting thing like Batman and Robin. Because anyone seen that first movie knows that Two-Face is in it. Billy D. Williams, African American.
Mm-hmm.
Batman and Robin, Tommy Lee Jones, Caucasian.
Yeah,
I'm still baffled by that.
I don't know. It's sort of funny. Like for some roles, it's just like I don't know. It's like when I saw Samuel Jackson playing Nick Fury, I had no problem at all with that. I was down with it. I was like,
technically, he was already black in the comics.
But they changed that after after Iron Man.
When they did an alternate reality.
The
the Ultimates, he was basically Samuel Jackson that years before he was in the movies.
But his fame, the claim to fame was from Nick Fury. But I had no problem with it. I mean, when I heard that casting, I'm going like, well, that's cool. That'd be cool because he'll just be spot on. I guess there are some actors that can just walk inside any role at any time. That's a real gift, isn't it?
Samuel Jackson, he can play whatever he wants. Okay, it's Samuel Jackson.
Yeah,
he can go on and cast him as Luke Skywalker. No one's gonna complain because it's Samuel L.
Yeah.
No. Thanks for answering the questions too. I know this is I think we're gonna hear more about this as we go on, and I'm curious to hear what you guys have to think. Because I hope Steven isn't too upset that we're talking such seriousness on the show, but. Anybody knows me and Echo knows that we're going to be bringing.
Is there anybody famous director or writer you two would like to work with?
Oh my gosh, I might butcher the last name, but Greta
Gerwig.
Gerwig, yes.
Well, she had that ready to go, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't even prepared for the question. I just love her work. So yeah.
I still yet to see Lady Bird.
I love Lady Bird. It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and for me, it's Tarantino. I would, it's for Tarantino. I would love to just be on his sets. I want to see what Tarantino does on his sets, because I hear they're a blast. So I just want to go and see what it's all about.
Too bad we never got that Tarantino Star Trek movie because that would have been interesting.
The R-rated Star Trek, yeah.
Funny.
Well, it's just like it's too bad we didn't get the Kevin Smith Superman either.
Yeah.
We would have known he would have fought a giant spider.
Yeah.
Hey, we got the pictures of a long-haired Nicolas Cage in that whatever it was he had on, that plastic Superman suit thing he had on, looking like a vampire because he was so pale in the pictures.
Yeah, I've seen that photo.
So what are you? Hobbs wants to know, do you guys enjoy kaiju movies or 80s archives type motion pictures? Okay, that's a good question. Do you know what do you guys like watching monster movies?
I love monster movies. I do enjoy a nice little kaiju movie every now and then. Have you guys ever seen Monsters by Gareth Edwards, 2010? Love that film.
Name rings a bell.
Is that the one with the invasion and in the North America they have to cross Mexico's border?
Yes, they have to go into
yeah.
That's a great modern like kaiju kind of movie. But in terms of like the classics, I haven't seen that many myself.
Well, there's one where they had Godzilla speak English.
Oh, okay. Well, I gotta watch that for sure.
Because when they went in Japan, they put wood bubbles. but leave it to America to go.
God,
he's all like over here, over here. This bad accent.
Nice.
Saber, how about you? You have any 80s fan? Any 80s movies that you're a fan of?
Oh gosh.
So if you love Godzilla, that's bonus points.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say Godzilla. Honestly, that's. But I don't know if I can name another one off the top of my head. Yeah.
Just say you're a fan of Gigan.
Oh God!
That's all you need. Just say go Gigan.
He laughed. I don't know if I should.
No, go Gigan, go. Oh, trust me.
Ghidorah's better. Ghidorah's better.
What? Oh my God! Why don't you have her name Mothra, who dies in every movie?
Oh God!
And is reborn in every movie.
Mechagodzilla might take the cake.
Mothra's like the red shirt of kaiju movies. He's always dying in the first scene. But Gigan, yeah. I mean, do you guys get excited when you see movies coming? I mean, because you guys are both in the industry. When a movie comes out and it premieres, like Fast X, do you get excited for that when it comes out?
Fast X. Yeah, I mean,
is there any you're looking forward to though? That you recently saw a trailer for?
Which one are you looking forward to this year?
Oh my gosh, I'm like drawing a blank on all the movie names right now. I was interested in seeing Beau is Afraid, but with the mixed reviews out there, I don't know. I think it might be out of theaters now, though.
Well, there's always Super Mario Brothers, which is still in the theater, and you can buy it at the store too at the same time.
Oh wow! I know. I've actually heard really good things about Super Mario Brothers.
It's much better than the other one from the '90s, where the cast had to be drunk just to film scenes.
Oh God!
The experience was that bad.
Yeah.
I have a list of the movies I'm looking forward to this year. I actually made a list.
Okay, he's ready.
Here's the films that I'm looking forward to this year. Indiana Jones 5, the new one. Asteroid City. Looking forward to Oppenheimer. Killers of the Flower Moon. Barbie. Thanksgiving. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. The Creator. Strays. No Hard Feelings. Equalizer 3. Poor Things. Dune Part 2. The Killer by David Fincher. The Hunger Games prequel, and Wonka.
I am looking forward to the Hunger Games prequel.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I didn't think that I was going to be into it, but then I saw the trailer and I was like,
yeah,
wow, this is really cool.
Yeah. As soon as I saw Peter Dinklage, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
He's going to be playing. I hope he's not playing, but I hope he's voicing Toxie in the Toxic Avengers remake.
There's a Toxic Avengers remake?
Yep. And he's listed as Toxie, so I'm hoping he's voicing the character.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, he's playing. I think he's playing the game master.
When you look it up, he's listed as Toxie.
Wow.
Now, if you guys ever want to see the best Peter Dinklage role ever, and you know what's funny? I haven't reviewed this movie yet. I haven't even talked about it yet, but I'm going to. And that's a movie by Joe Lynch, who also has a new movie coming out. And that's a Knights of a Badassdom. Man, that's such a great movie. Freaking!
They just dropped the trailer for.
You have a lot of movies that you're looking forward to. What about you, Saber? What do you have? What do you want to see upcoming?
Oh, I'm not sure. I feel like all of them.
They just.
I know.
Just say Gigan. That'll work.
Yeah. No, not that long ago they dropped the trailer for the Meg 2, and it looks insane.
All right, that. Oh my god.
The beginning of the trailer, you see these dinosaurs, you see the T-Rex, and then the Megalodon comes out and gets the T-Rex.
Didn't they do that in Jurassic Park already though?
Yeah, and then they're showing you like all the stuff like now modern times. There's a group of them and all this action and fighting people, screaming, sharks eating people.
I love it.
It looks like it's going to be insane. Jason Stratham's back in it.
Nice.
He's got one of them coming at him and he's kicking him on the nose like, get away.
I love bad shark movies. Is there any guilty pleasures you guys watch? What are 3 or 4 movies that you guys watch that people actually know that you liked or watched that they would just like set up a tent and charge tickets to laugh at you. What are some of your favorite guilty? What are your favorite movies that you don't really tell people that you really enjoy?
Something that I wouldn't tell people. Conrad, do you want to go first?
Fine, I'll go first. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but every movie that The Rock is in, I love.
Oh yes.
Me too, man. How did you not love The Rock?
Yeah, it's embarrassing, and I don't really tell people that I go watch The Rock movies, but I really
love The Rock movies.
I got to see him wrestle 3 times.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's awesome.
I'm sorry.
And his promos, like I was there for the one promo where he told the guy, "Bend over backwards, explain to me why he wants to make me squeal like a pig." And the guy hands the mic and bends over in front of him backwards, and you see Dwayne going there. You sick freak.
Yeah, coach.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's really fun, right? I mean, The Rock is he's I felt bad for him. I do think he got some, because sometimes that happens, right? I mean, where you get some bad advice on a. Have you ever gotten some bad advice on a movie? Whether it been like, I'm thinking about making this movie. What do you think? I think you should do it. And, or what do you think we should, or how should we play it? And you got an advice from somebody who hasn't turned out too good. How do you recover from that?
You make something better, or you kind of try again and learn from that mistake and hopefully don't do it again. I mean, that's my mentality. I mean, I've written crap before that I've been paid for, and I'm like, this is mindless. Like I should. Yeah, I'm getting paid to write this stuff, but I just feel like this isn't going anywhere. Like I'm just wasting my time. I need to just write better stuff, even if I'm not getting paid for it. For my sanity.
Yeah, I mean, I thought The Rock. I thought I thought the Black Adam role, he overextended himself.
Mm-hmm. I like that because it's much different. He's always has kind of a he like his wrestling character of The Rock. Dwayne would be kind of charismatic and kind of like energy and happy, but this he's darker. Yeah, I liked. It was cool to see him in that. Of course, he's going to be doing a live action adaptation of that one movie he did for Disney. He did the song
Jungle Book.
Jungle Cruise?
That one he did.
Moana.
He sang the song. Yeah, which apparently he couldn't convince his one daughter that's him voicing the character.
Oh, that's funny.
Even when he would sing the song to her, she was like, "It's not you."
Oh my god. Well, Sabra, you're still not off the hook. What are your guilty pleasure movies?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought I evaded that question.
I can help you. I think I know this one. I think I know it. Just say it's Godzilla versus Gigan. That'll work.
Still on the Godzilla.
There we go. Patrick, you know me so well.
Oh, all right. Godzilla versus Gigan, 1972. It's guilty pleasure right there. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow. That has redeemed us all. Including the wrestling talk. Come on, Echo.
Hobbs has a good one. They have those mockbusters they make. Asylum is famous for them.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on those kind of movies and the performances in them?
Like in the Asylum movies?
Yeah, like Atlantic Rim,
Atlantic
8 versus Lizard. They just straight up rip off some other movie.
Yeah,
rip off some other movie.
Monster. I think wasn't it 8 versus Monster?
Oh yeah, that was basically a rip off of Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not huge on rip-off movies, to be honest with you. I think they're kind of tacky. Unless you're, I don't know, like what if you made like a really, really good rip-off movie? Like, back in like the 90s and the 80s, I feel like they did a lot of like really good rip-off movies, and they, like, for instance, like, or even like in the 70s, like, you have like Halloween, and then you have like, I feel like Halloween got ripped off for like 10 years straight after that movie came out.
I was going to suggest Tarantino myself. That guy made
all those old. That started off those holiday and calendar themed movies.
Yeah,
I think they did just about every day of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, but I feel like if you do it well, though, I think that deserves its own merit. Like, you mentioned Tarantino, but Tarantino, yeah, he can rip off a couple of scenes here and there, or like whatever aesthetics from different movies, but he does it so uniquely and so well that it holds its own weight. Whether some of these guys and these other companies, like, that's just trying to make money. It's just capitalism at that point. So
Hobbs has mentioned a lot of Ohio movies right now, including Attack of the Killer Donuts. Since we last talked to you, Conrad, has the film industry in Cleveland, has it just got? I mean, summer is just blowing up now. I mean, are there projects going on everywhere right now, particularly right now?
I have no idea, Patrick. I honestly have been so out of the loop because I've been so focused on my own that I really don't know what. Like, someone will tell me like, "Oh, this big movie's coming into town," and I'll be like, "Oh, really? I had no idea." I know we had a Netflix movie last year, I think, or towards the end of last year. That was really kind of big. But in terms of this year, I honestly I really don't know. I really have no idea. I don't know what to tell you. I've been so focused on, because I have so many projects this year, that I've been overwhelmed. I don't know. I hope there's a lot of movies in Ohio or in Cleveland. That would be
cool. So too, because like I said, Ohio right now, anybody I get a chance to talk to is from Ohio. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
All right. So I tell you what. Here's our last question to you guys both. What is unless Echo has one? Oh, wait a minute. Hobbs. Let's see. Hobbs wants to know about the indie film of indie films in Ohio right now. Yeah, I guess they're part of it. Hobbs. Is there any type of movies that you wouldn't do, Saber? Is there any type of, like you mentioned, you like to do drama and you like to do with comedy? Is there any kind of independent films that maybe you would shy away from? As far as content goes, I mean, are you game for anything? You'll try anything once, or there are certain things you just won't do?
No, I would say that I'm open to any concept. I don't, as an actor, I don't want to restrict myself in, what I can do, or, what kinds of movies or I guess content that I could play. So no restrictions on that. Again, I think it just comes down to, what the actual role is and kind of what the development is there.
Here's one for you two. If you had an aspiring actor, actress, or filmmaker, what kind of advice would you two give them?
Well, my advice is to try and fail, because it's a great learning experience. And I did a lot of trying and failing throughout my entire life, until people started taking notice of what I could really do. And it was all those failures. It's funny because like I used to make movies almost every week by myself, and no one would see them. I would kind of keep them to myself because I knew that would be my training ground. Yeah, I knew that I was okay to fail. So then you train yourself enough to be okay with that, later down the road. If you come across some kind of a big failure down the line, you learn to accept it because you've trained yourself to be okay with failure. But then next thing you know, you succeed, and then you start succeeding, and you start seeing that failure was just a stepping stone into something better for your career. So that's my advice: just be okay with failure.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Honestly, I think that's awesome advice. Mine, on top of that, would have to be just at the end of the day, you have to be, your number one fan. You have to believe in yourself more than anybody else. Kind of, we touched on it earlier, but there's always going to be, different opinions out there, but you just have to stay true to yourself. Keep trying, keep trying, keep failing, keep winning, keep doing what you love, and stay consistent and trust yourself and trust the process. And definitely. You got it.
Yeah. Echo, you got one last question for you?
That was it.
All right.
By the way, that's good advice, you two.
Yes.
So much. Thank you.
Marianne mentions, I like that. Just keep swimming. Yep. That's a good way to do it. You see a duck on the water and it looks so peaceful and calm, but underneath the water, their legs are churning, 100 miles a minute. I want to thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with us here on this special edition of House of Horrors. Headcase, we're going to put the link down below. along with all your socials. We'll put that all down below where people can find you at. You guys are? I know that Conrad's on Instagram. Are you also on Instagram as well?
I am on Instagram. Yes.
Okay, we will put all your links down below. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We are gonna continue to talk. You're more than welcome to hang out with us. We're just gonna do a little chit chat. Unless you guys have to go, if so, we understand that. But otherwise, you're more than welcome to hang out. We'll just roundtable it.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for having me. I do have to go, but thank you guys so much for having me. This was such a fun talk. Some of these questions were like powerful. They were powerful questions. Normally I'm like, okay, they're easy questions like, oh, how do you like making movies? These were like, we got in depth today, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I know. I slid in a little 8 questions with in here today. But that's me. I'll ask anybody anything. I don't care what it is. No matter how controversial. Because I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear. Yeah. I want to know. I want to know.
Yeah. And next time, no kilo tea.
Yeah. I think I have to go as well. And thank you so much for having me. And thanks for all the questions.
Thank you for coming out. And it's awesome and we're going to highlight this too, by the way. We're going to highlight the fact that your favorite kaiju movie is one that we love that movie. We don't understand. That's almost like our mascot movie.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, King Gigan. Tell him, Echo.
There you go. There you go.
King Ghidorah all the way.
All right, guys. Thank you again. Me and Echo are going to stay on here and talk for about 10, 15 more minutes, and then we'll talk a little bit about Steven since he's not here. We'll talk about share a couple of Steven stories, and then we'll get out. But thank you again so much, and I will see you down the line. You'll be back on 8 questions with, I promise.
Very cool. Thank you guys, Patrick, Echo. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah.
Bye.
Great night.
See you later. Bye.
And she loves Gigan. How could, dude? If I wasn't married already, right there.
I'm still a Ghidorah guy.
If I wasn't married, I'd be seriously considered like, damn, girl, shit. Right.
I'm still a Ghidorah guy. Although, did you see the upgraded Gigan from Final Wars?
Did you see Gigan Rex from Godzilla days? Godzilla days. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because in Final Wars, he gets his head blown off.
Yeah,
then they give him a new head, new weapons. They just upgrade him.
Dude, man, they upgrade him.
Then he gets killed again.
They're gonna do. Okay, so Steven's mentioning War of the Gargantuas is one of my favorites. Mine too.
Okay.
Man,
I've seen that before.
I think that one had Russ Tamblyn in it. Because they always put American actors in a lot of these Godzilla movies so they can market them over here.
Well, they did that teaser or whatever for King Kong versus Godzilla 2. That villain that it looks like an orangutan.
I have zero expectations for that movie. That movie looks DOA for me.
Well, the moment they dropped it, they started getting that negative feedback. Hopefully, they can go, April Fool, we fooled you guys. We got you guys.
You know what? Wingard did something. I've said it once. I'll say it again. I'll say it tomorrow. I'll say it next week. And that is, he treated all the other monsters like red shirts, like Rodan and Mothra, and especially Ghidorah. It's like, did you not watch any Godzilla movies when you were growing up? I mean,
the best Rodan-related movie is that original because of that ending.
I mean, Ghidorah is so badass. How badass is Ghidorah, you ask? Dude, they brought him from Space Nebula. Was it X? Dude, he battled everybody and destroyed all monsters. He fought everybody.
Yeah. But what I like about the ending of the original Rodan, so that one falls into the lava, the other one decides, I can't live without you. I can't live without him or her or whatever. So it dove in to be with it.
Yeah.
And die. I like that ending because I was like, wow, that's a kind of an interesting ending.
That. I like that too. Rodan's a great movie. It is a great movie. All those Godzilla movies are great. It's just like it's like so they didn't make all the mistakes they did in the '98 version, and that's good. But they made some critical mistakes in the fact that they used the established monsters that they did have. Because to me, one of the most exciting scenes of Godzilla, I think it was Godzilla versus the second one, the second Godzilla, where they showed Rodan chasing down a squadron of fighter planes that are trying to fly, and Rodan's chasing them. And holy shit, that was an exciting scene. But they treated all the monsters as secondary characters, and it's like there's no secondary characters in Godzilla. That's the thing. There really isn't.
And then all of them are pretty much dead come the next one.
Yeah, it's like comic book movie. At the end of the comic book movie, you feel like you need to kill the villain. It's like, it's like you just want to get up there and scream, "Don't fucking kill the villain!" It's like stop doing that because nobody really appreciates it. We're gonna kill Thanos. Why are you gonna do that?
Okay, Batman 80 whatever, kill the Joker. Next movie, kill Penguin. Then it's after that. They kind of like, let's not kill him. Let's put Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy in prison. Let's put this character, what's his name? Well, they killed Two-Face, I think it was, but they put Riddler in an asylum.
Right. I mean, that's what makes comic book movies so cool and monster movies so cool is the fact that, okay, like after Godzilla and King Kong, whooped each other's ass in the first movie, at the end of it, they each walked away. Godzilla got knocked off the cliff. Kong walked away. They both survived. So you get excited because hell yeah, you're going like, okay, that's great. Now we'll have a chance to see, we'll see them again. But in the new Godzilla movies, and they're so intent on killing all the original characters. This is like nobody wants that. And then you can come up with a weak ass villain like another ape. That's what you're gonna come up with because he's got Godzilla's eyes. Oh, so he absorbs his power. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
They were already. It's like I started hearing about it before I even saw it. People were already getting pissed off.
Yeah, I'm already. I just have no expectations for it. I can't say I'm pissed off about it. All I could say is that I turn around and I am definitely looking and hoping that the new Japanese movie, because they're doing also a new Godzilla movie, I'm hoping that they go back old school. And
I enjoyed Shin Godzilla.
you know what? I haven't. I still got to see that. I know that there was no monster in it, and I know how they defeated him, and I thought that was great for a reintroduction. But I am really hoping that for the next one, I do hope they reintroduce the kaiju monsters. Not necessarily. You don't have to necessarily bring them back from Monster Island per se, but you can reintroduce them because Shin Godzilla was a much more. I mean, that was actually a drama in Japan. That won Oscars, like the Japan Oscars. That movie was nominated and won several awards. Like could you imagine a monster movie being nominated for an Oscar here?
Yeah, it's like a horror movie being nominated for the best horror movie and winning. Sorry, best movie of the year and winning.
Some people might say Silence of the Lambs would fall into that category.
What I liked about Shin is that it took you back to the original, and at the same time, it took away all that technology. No mazos and none of that stuff. And man, there's a lot because there's different periods. I think the original was 54 to 70 something, and then 84 to 90 something, and then 99, 2000 to 2004. Have you seen the CGI movies?
For which one?
Godzilla, the CGI trilogy that's done like on anime like.
Oh no.
They introduced you to the biggest Godzilla ever. Freaking the size of a mountain big. And a big mountain, like Mount Everest sized Godzilla.
Oh, that's a little, yeah, it's a little. I saw the Godzilla animated movie series on Netflix. Like I heard about that and I was looking forward to that. And then I saw the first picture of Jet Jaguar and I was like, yeah, I'm out. He looked absolutely horrible, and I have no idea what that was, but it was not Jet Jaguar. So I was like, no, I'm all right with that. Uh, uh, wow. So I guess they mentioned a lot of the movies coming up during the summer. I guess what the speaking of that, speaking of franchises and whatnot, I guess the big thing is in the new Transformers movie, is the end credits. And
Yep,
the
I started hearing about that, and we're going because the whole GI Joe thing. People gotta, if they don't remember, don't realize. Back to, I don't know if it was after the first GI Joe and Transformer movies, they already started saying, "Let's see this."
yeah.
We were also supposed to get a Mask movie, and I think at one point they were talking about a shared universe between the three.
Well, I guess that's what they're gonna do. They at the end of in the mid credits for the Rise of the Beast, that's what happens. There's or their GI Joe character comes out, and then he says, we really like to talk to you about it, and it teased that the Transformers are in the GI Joe universe. That would be very cool.
And last time they teased us with something was last night. No, not last. What's the one after last night? Was that last night? They had the one before Bumblebee. We got teased.
That was the last night, and then Bumblebee.
We got teased with Unicorn back then because we saw this big horn, and then what's her name shows up and goes, he doesn't like being touched. Who's he? Unicron. Because that was going to go with the whole deal that Earth is Unicron.
Unicron. I'm looking forward to that. I do think that Transformer movies will do very, very well. Because now Hollywood has figured out that for a movie to make it, they need to break even here domestically, and then make their money on the international market. So your movie costs $150 million here. If you get that back here in the United States, and then you go to Japan, and you go to Korea, you go to China, and then that's where you make your money. You make your money on those markets there. Yes, Katie. Transformers more than meets the eye, and GI Joe. Could you imagine
yeah, I mean, because they did it in the comics.
Yeah,
and Unicron was involved then. In one of the variations of it, if I remember right.
See, that's what I was hoping for. I keep on hoping for that too. I just keep on hoping it because I know it would just go absolutely batshit crazy if they could ever do it.
Here's the thing about the introduction of Unicron, because Orson Welles voiced him, right?
Yeah. Well, Orson Welles did a lot of voiceover acting. Here's
the thing: the reason why his voice might sound a little bit different, Welles was dying, sick at the time.
Yeah.
So his voice was weak. So they had to do editing magic, which is why his voice is so deep and booming.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
He died, I think, before the movie came out, if I remember right.
He did a lot of radio work when he was younger. He actually voiced the Shadow. He's one of the voices of a radio.
Yeah, there's one radio show he's really known for.
Yeah.
That turned up and the police showed up and everything. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? And if you, because I used to have the recording of that, and you can hear it was a show. There was stuff at the beginning signaling that it was all fictional.
Let's see. Steven's mentioning, I got some GI Joe vibes from Rise of the Beast, but hope they bring back Jazz. Actually got my Transformers the movie signed by Judd Hot Rod Nelson. That's very cool.
Yeah, the original Hot Rod. Cool. Now, if they bring back Jazz, they need to have somebody who can impersonate Scatman Crothers.
I don't know
if the original voice of Jazz was Scatman.
Peter Cullen has been doing that voice for years now. Oh, Generation 1. Okay, is that the first generation of Transformers movies, or the TV show?
In the theatrical movie, 80s cartoon movie?
That's right, the 80s cartoon movie.
Yeah, sorry. somebody was being loud outside. Yeah, he voiced the character of Hot Rod.
You know. So yeah, you know what?
The one voice they always try to do in Transformers is Starscream. Because of that guy's voice. He's so high pitched and whiny like.
I have to go back and see he does all the voice acting for the Transformers movies. I just know Peter Cullen. I know Peter Cullen's still doing it, you know, Optimus Prime, and he's still in fine form.
For the cartoon movie, you had Judd Nelson, Robert Stack, or whatever it's from Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, Robert Stack.
Orson Welles, Leonard Nimoy, the Micro Machine guy, voices blurred, and I forget who else. But I can't listen to Maximum Ultra Magnus from that movie without thinking, you know, on this week's episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
But you know he was more famous as Elliot Ness in The Untouchables.
And yes, Stephen, the same guy who voiced Starscream voiced Cobra Commander. And his daughter, I guess at first wasn't doing the conventions, so I don't know if it was from Transformers or G.I. Joe, but one of them convinced her, just come on down, represent your late father at these conventions. And she gave in eventually, and she does the conventions, I guess, in place of her father.
Oh, speaking of conventions, man, we gotta give a shout out to our boy Steven, hosting the House of Horrors. He will be back next week. We don't know what's going on in the House of Horrors. That's the one thing about the House of Horrors. If you notice that there's like thousands of rooms in the house, sort of like the House of Mystery. So we don't know what's happening next week. We do know that he is in Spookala Drink.
He's been posting some good pictures, and he's got some people shouting out the channel. He's been uploading those as shorts.
Yeah, a lot of people are shouting out the channel, and he's working on several guests. He shared some of the guests that he is working on. Some of them will definitely be blowing your mind. He told me a couple of them, and I'm going like, holy shit, go get it, Steven.
And then he took a picture with that one actor. Who was it? His name was on top of my head. Mr. Thrill Me.
Oh, Tom Atkins.
Yeah, when I saw that picture, the first thing that popped in my head, Thrill Me.
Yeah, it's the same thing I said too. I said, Thrill Me. I guess he asked him for a potential guest on the show. But Tom Atkins had mentioned that he is having trouble with his hearing, so he would not be able to do the show. I've heard about that too. Some of the older actors. I know that some beloved actors are slowing down, and you know it's weird, dude. Knowing that, like, I remember.
Speaking of slowing down, you saw the announcement about what's his name from Breaking Bad?
No,
Bryan Cranston.
Oh, what did he say?
2026. That's it. He's retiring.
Okay.
He's going to be He's going to be 70, and he wants to spend more time with his wife.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. All right, here comes Waffles. Waffles in the house. Let's see. I just bought stuff on 4K, $108. A sweet deal. Oh, the stuff on 4K for $100. Oh, Lord have mercy. God. So there's Waffles. Waffles was doing a live, and he was commenting how he bought a copy of the stuff, and he paid $46 for it. Who does that? $46 for the stuff, but now Waffles is saying that he bought the 4K of the stuff for $108. That's like 3 years of shopping at the library. I think you knocked Echo off with that announcement.
Yeah, StreamYard kicked me off. Dear StreamYard, can you read between the lines, or do you need help?
Well, how about that? Waffle spent $108.
Yeah, but then he joking because $108. It better come with more than a movie for $108.
They better ship the stuff with it. I mean, like he better get like a container of the stuff.
Big container of it.
Big container, like a pint, like from Dairy Queen, like a Blizzard, where you flip it over and it doesn't come out. That kind of money. Yeah, that's yeah. I was teasing him about that, and then he banned me. He banned me. I was my feelings were hurt.
Yeah, I mean, if someone would spend 108 on a movie, there's certain movies you wouldn't do that with. Birdemic 3, Legend of Werewolf Island.
What? Why? What's it? How is it with all these great movies that we got? How is it that you love all these really bad movies?
Because I'm a sick and twisted person, apparently.
I mean, I mean, I like bad movies too, but
I think I've seen so many that maybe I've built up a slight immunity. I mean, there's still some I don't like.
I don't know if I could ever watch The Room. In all seriousness, I don't think I could handle that.
Oh, don't. I mean, okay. I only saw it because I kept coming across all these reviews and clips of it. I just said, I got to see this. It is a terrible, boring. It's an awful movie.
I was looking forward to Cocaine Shark. I thought it was going to be a lot of fun. I thought they were going to give it the Sharkenstein treatment, which would be a lot of humor into it. I didn't expect them to play it so straight, and then I found out why, because it was supposed to be Narco Shark. And even I don't care what it was called. The fact that they didn't have any jokes in it's what really killed it for me. It's like you got that movie's got to have jokes in it.
I only watched the beginning of it because when I was gearing up for that review, an interview with Kyle, I got told, "Oh, Kyle's at the beginning of the movie." Well, unmasked.
No, Kyle's in the middle. He's in the middle. And he's in the beginning, and he's in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, but without wearing a mask or something.
He got killed twice. He got killed twice. That was the funniest moment. That was the funniest moment of the movie. He got killed twice.
What was that? A lobster, shark?
Well, he got killed. He got killed by the shark. He got killed by the shark. For the first death scene, and the second one, he got killed by the henchman who came out there and shot him. So he died. But they didn't do a close up on him getting killed because then we see it was Kyle again. But as soon as you see it, you go like, "Oh, there's Kyle. Oh, what? Oh, he's getting killed again." That was actually truly the funniest. That was the funniest part of the whole damn movie, was watching Kyle get killed again. And I still have yet to watch Sharkula, though I heard this is a lot of fun right here, so I still got Sharkula. So that is.
And the thing is, he has two roles in the beginning of the movie, though.
In Sharkula?
No, in Cocaine Shark, Kyle has two roles.
No, he had one role.
He two. When they're showing some of the scientists and people working, there's one. He's got the mask on, but if you look close, you can tell it's him.
So he was in three scenes. So he got killed twice, and he played a scientist.
One of the ones at the beginning, you can see he's got his that much of his face covered up, but this area it's recognizable enough to go, is that Kyle?
Oh,
that's Kyle.
Jesus. Okay, so I asked our guest tonight, Conrad. I asked him about the review because I had that dilemma. And I reviewed a movie from a gentleman who I really, really like, and I think he's a hell of a director. And the story is written by a former guest, very nice young man. I totally like him a lot. I watched the movie that he wrote and that our other guest directed, and I liked the concept of the movie. I liked a lot of the performances of the movie, but the main one carrying the film was absolutely horrible. I mean, it's just like I put it down and I put it in my review that she had two cardinal sins. One, she's not likable. And two, she's a Quiet Place dumb. Did you ever see The Quiet Place?
I've only seen is that the one that has about the monsters you got to be quiet with?
Right.
I've only seen the second one.
Oh, you have to watch the first. You have to watch.
I was annoyed by the second one with those kids and stuff making all those noise. I'm like, God damn, just kill the kids.
Wait till you see the first one. If you watch the first one, I've never seen characters so stupid, and you'll never see characters more stupid than in that movie.
It's like, seriously. We know, hey, be silent, don't make any noise, and they go and make a whole bunch of noise. It's like,
oh yeah. I mean, it's just like it starts right off the bat. It's supposed to be a movie moment, because they lost their kid. But if you go watch that scene and you go like, who puts a 5-year-old at the end of a column? Who puts him down there by himself? In a situation like that. Yes, it was so stupid. And so you go like, okay, that was really stupid, and then in the first movie, it established that the aliens have been there for 3 years. 3 years. So after they lose their son, they decide they're going to do something about that. Remember, this is aliens that can hear anything. They decide in the movie that they're going to get pregnant.
Baby's not going to be silent exactly.
Who would do that? Who would do that? Who would have a baby in a situation like that? How are you going to keep the baby quiet? I mean, it was just like nobody would do that. I mean, the aliens would be the perfect birth control. It's like, no, let's get busy. Yeah,
I don't know. As frustrating as that second movie made me, and all the utter stupidity of the characters, I don't know if I want to see the first one if it's that bad.
I mean, so they show her. Then they show her she stepped on a nail. So she has to be really careful, like she like they walk around their house. She's not wearing any shoes or anything. She steps on the nail, and then she gives birth to the baby. It's just like, these are some of the dumbest people I've ever seen in a movie, ever. It's just, and for this movie, it has the same sort of the logic doesn't fit. This girl's doing certain things in this movie, and you just go in there like, just no. It's like you're being trapped by a smart house.
One of the reasons
you can't open the door. You can't open the door, right? Because the door's locked. There's a glass window. It's like a back door.
Break it. Just break it.
Yes.
Yeah, just break it.
Yes.
One of the reasons I don't like kids in horror movies is because some of the people who do the really dumb shit. Oh, kids. Like Dinosaur Hotel, which was an ITN movie. They tell the kids, stay inside. What do the kids do? They go outside to look for dinosaurs.
Yeah. And it's just like that's like, I mean, we're not talking about a kid in this movie I'm talking about. We're talking about a grown adult. And next thing you know, she's supposedly trapped in this house. And she can't get out. And she goes to the back door. She tries to open it. Half the door's glass. And she can't figure out that I can just break the glass. I can just go through the glass.
Go to the kitchen.
I'm not trapped.
Go to the kitchen, get a frying pan, grab the TV, chuck it up at it, and then walk right out. Just be careful. Right. There might be broken glass.
Put shoes on. They put gloves on, but no. And it's just like, you watch this movie and you're sitting there and you're seeing that and you're going like, man, I really want to like this movie. But it is. I mean, it's just, I was kind to that. I was kind to it. I was thinking, okay, I know they don't have the budget for it. Like, to me, that would have worked in a panic room. Like if she had actually been trapped in a panic room or her bedroom, like her bedroom had been locked, like her closet or something like that, where she had been trapped inside the house and she had to figure out how to get out of it. But for Christ's sake, she's in the kitchen. And now the doors are locked, and you're trying to tell me you can't get a frying pan or break the windows? I'm out. Yeah. I checked out of the movie because it's just like,
it's got to be something there that's keeping from doing. Like, I just saw a movie. There's one where about a prison or something during a storm. I just saw the preview for. I can't remember the name. And there's alligators and crocodiles or something that get in there because it's flooding. That would be a reason not to be able to get out.
I mean, I love the story. And they had some great performances in there. A guy named Tom Cherry, man, that guy was. Wait till when you watch. It's an ITM movie, by the way. It's an ITM movie.
Your cap lock is jammed, Anna.
It was my keyboard. I can't get off caps. It's okay.
Yeah, your cap lock must be jammed.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say
and it's new.
Oh.
Yeah, you can try unplugging it or if you can see
unplug
something's
it
wrong.
and then or go into the store and get a compressed air, and then blow that into your keyboard.
They make that air duster.
Right. Yeah, don't wash it with water.
No, or if somebody recently messed with it, had like soda or something.
Or wireless.
Got under there. Wireless.
Oh, she can be able to wash it. She'd be able to wash it then with warm water.
Yeah, there's a reason why I don't mess with wireless.
Yeah, I would get the compressed air though.
Yeah, because those air dusters have multiple purposes. I need to get one that have some things that need cleaned. So we can use to clean video game consoles. Just.
All right. Well, looks like we have 5 minutes left. So why don't you take this opportunity, Echo, to tell us what's going on your channel?
I'm still doing Monster Month. I gotta pick another one. I got a few movies here. I need to pick the lake.
Is the lake ITN?
No, this is the one that James and them were talking about.
Yes, I think that the lake's on Tubi, isn't it?
I haven't seen it, but this is the one I pre-ordered like 2 months ago. So I just gotta find some. Plus, I'm gonna be filming a out in the wild type thing because Monday is my mom's birthday, so this week's gonna be a little bit busy upcoming week. So I'm gonna maybe get one review in.
Are you baking?
Don't know about. I can't bake.
Sure, you just get.
I have a curse on me. You know those pre-made cookies? All you gotta do is cut.
Yeah.
I can ruin those. They can look okay, don't come out burned, and they'll still taste bad. There is a baking curse on me, so I will not bake. I make what's called a butt ugly cake. Tastes terrible, and I can follow all the directions and looks butt ugly. And I still got to reschedule that Relic watch along. I got to find a good day.
Man, you got to read the Pendergast series. You do read. Please tell me you do read.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to on because tomorrow I'm going to the mall. That's about an hour from me because it's the actual mall that has a bookstore, and I'm going to be perusing the books.
Go to your library for this, and I'll give you the information. I'll tell you who to look up for. It's the writers Preston and Child, and I forget the other guy's name. Well, anyway, they're the ones that wrote about they wrote the Relic.
And I read the first book.
Okay, so you understand. How do you read the first book and still watch the Relic?
I saw the Relic. It's the 1997 one.
Okay.
And then later on, I was at the library, I think, and they had it there. So I checked it out and read it. And there is more to there's other books I want to say to the series.
Yeah. I can't remember how many. I think there's over 20 books.
Whoa.
I think there's like 15 Pendergast books. I think there's a few Gideon books. And now they started the new one with Nora and Corey Swanson. Nora is if I'm not mistaken, Nora's in the Relic, I think.
And yeah, man, I just got to figure out when I'm gonna do the watch along to the Relic. I have to figure all that out.
When I first saw you do that, I thought when you said you were gonna watch the Relic, I thought you were gonna watch home movies from your co-host. I thought that was like from your co-host. I thought she was going to be showing you home movies from when she was growing up.
Because what it was is that I was supposed to do this stream, and then there was going to be 2 watch-alongs tonight, but they got canceled. You know why. And so I'm going to reschedule the Relic. I just don't know when.
Yeah, that'll be fun. For sure. I'll definitely look forward to that. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m., I will be back here with our friend Stephen Chang. We'll be interviewing Stephen Chang tomorrow afternoon for a special edition of 8 Questions With. And Stephen is a very nice young man. I really like him. He's very kind-hearted. He's got a big heart, and he's going to be coming out and he's going to be talking with us. And this will be his first interview, and I'm looking forward to it. And he's trusting us to take care of him, and we will. And so we'll be talking with him about his. He's going to be.
I always see him in chat. Hopefully, I'll be home in time to see that, and not.
I suspect I have a feeling we're going to have some guests in the chat for that. I don't know why. I'm just got a feeling that there's going to be some familiar names in the chat tomorrow for the show.
Cool.
Yeah. And then on Monday at 3 p.m., we'll be interviewing John Christ from Danzig, Jerry Montano from Danzig and Destroyer, and the Destroyer.
And Tuesday, Dustin Ferguson for you.
Huh? What? No, Dustin Ferguson. Did you see? You know what Steven did? He showed me this one YouTuber. She actually got a 30-minute interview with Mark Polonia.
Oh.
I have no idea how she managed to do that.
Maybe she knows somebody.
I'm going like, how is it that she got that interview and not you, Steven? What's going on with that? So hopefully that will change. Steven will be doing he's going to be actually traveling to Indiana or Pennsylvania, one of the two. I know he's going to be traveling there to shoot a film pretty soon.
Oh yes, he was telling him and Kyle were talking about that movie.
Yeah, I think we might be co-hosting again for that. I think we're supposed to be co-hosting again. You'll be hosting for sure.
Yeah, he was talking about that, and when we did that interview with Kyle and Tim, I think it was, they were talking about that. About he was doing that. I think he was doing 2 movies. Kyle, well, no, not Kyle, but Steven might be doing 2 movies. One of them was to be in person, and one I forget what Steven was telling me about it, but I just can't remember.
Right. All right, boys and girls, that is it for us. Thank you for coming out and supporting us. And Steven, I hope we did you proud. I'm sorry I did not get I thought our guests were awesome, Conrad and
just leave my tea alone. No killer tea.
She was very sweet. I liked her a lot. Yeah. I love the fact that her favorite Godzilla movies, Godzilla vs. Gigan.
Ghidorah is better.
Yeah, but you heard what she said. You heard what she said. The guest is always right. So King Gigan strikes again. That's right. Well, hey, you know what? We gotta give Casey and Ben something to cheer about.
Okay, what would happen if Sarah Jessica Parker said she liked Gigan?
All right, that's enough. On that note, we are out of here. Thank you in the chat. Stay right where you're at, Echo, and everybody in the chat. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Thanks and have a great night. Peace. God, Sarah Jessica Parker. How come it can't be Kim Cattrall?